Shanta and Brian.
Yes.
The last video, if you're watching these in order, the last video we shared, Brian, looking at myself and I'm fuzzy, not that it matters, but Brian shared about his diagnosis of diabetes at the age 12. And before going on to what happened next in physically in his health, with his health, we just wanted to give a little background about what we've learned in the last 10 years, and just to encourage anybody going through or dealing with diabetes to maybe look at some of the same things that we've had an opportunity to look at. We talked in the beginning about, realizing we don't all come into this world with a clean slate, and that we are predisposed to specific things that are in our generational lines. And that doesn't mean that just because everybody in your family for the last 10 generations has been an alcoholic or a diabetic or an abusive person, that is still not yours, nor was it their, God's plan for their life. It's also not his plan for your life. And so we wanted to know, well, okay, we have come to understand that God's plan is health and wholeness, and that's not where we're at. And so sometimes to get somewhere else, you got to figure out how you got where you are. And in researching that and learning, there are some things that, for lack of a better term, activate those generational issues. And in looking at Brian's history, we discovered that there was some emotional neglect. You want to talk about that at all?
Yeah. Well, in my household,
You were well provided for.
There was always food to eat.
And toys.
Always toys to play with.
Clothes.
For the most part, there was always somebody around. But it wasn't always
a
a safe situation. My mom was a disciplinarian, and she was a hard worker, and she wasn't always able to be there physically. So that was, I know it's a different situation. Everybody's situations are different. It was, yes.
It left a void.
There was a void.
Okay. And in addition to the neglect, there was abuse.
Yes.
Sorry,
now.
I'm having trouble understanding right now. Please try a little later.
We're not talking to you, Alexa.
Definitely not talking to Alexa.
Okay, go ahead. Abuse.
Sorry. That's funny. Artificial intelligence. Abuse. Now, abuse has changed a whole lot over the years. I come from a generation where, you spanked kids. You got a whooping. You went out and got a switch. Today, that's abuse. That's considered abuse.
It was abuse then. It just was not being defined that way.
Yeah. So that was rampant. It's how people believe you had to raise a child. So that was a large part of
low self-esteem.
A large part of me growing up, just because I wasn't a goody two-shoes kid. I made mistakes.
Well, everybody does.
Yeah.
But that type of abuse can cultivate or exacerbate low self-esteem,
Yeah.
feeling like you're a bad person or a bad kid.
Yeah.
And to add insult to that injury, there was some other abuse.
Yeah. There were, you know, not just those types of abuse, but as well as that, there was sexual abuse also involved in my past as a child. Not just in one situation, but and with others. There's more than just one person in my
more than one
life, and more
situation.
than one situation where I was sexually abused as a child. And those things, they can be, and this especially, it's not to say that sexual abuse is different for a guy than it is for a girl or a woman, but you know, in our perceptions in this world, that it seems like it is, but yeah, it happens. It happens to boys.
I think sometimes it feels worse because it's not acknowledged, it's not expected, it's not discussed. I mean, a lot of women or girls don't report it either, but there's even fewer men report it. And so you take on shame and can even turn against yourself without realizing it unconsciously or subconsciously. So, and that's the point that I want to get to, is that this was really just a perfect storm to put Brian in a place of accepting and receiving things in his life that were not God's plan for him. And Henry Wright wrote a book called A More Excellent Way, and he teaches on how everything that happens in this natural realm is a result of something that's already happened in the spirit realm. And so, and he identifies over years and years of study, he's compiled in this book, again, it's called A More Excellent Way, people that he's counseled and ministered to over and over and over again. There are similarities to life stories and belief systems for people that have certain diseases and specific diseases. And so his book points out exactly, I could have read this book and then turned around and said, did you experience this, this, and this? And Brian checks off every symptom that he discusses. And so learning that and realizing and recognizing that was a big root of it was the beginning of a process of unraveling a lot of the damage that's been done over the years. And so that's what we wanted to do with this video, is just to encourage people to go beyond the medicine of healing and the diagnosis, and you want wholeness, and don't just address the body, but also address your soul and your spirit, because everything happens there before it even manifests in your body. I think there was more, but we'll save it for next time, because once again, we're past our 5 minutes.
Yeah, we're closer to 7 minutes. But
Yeah, our millennials are going to tell us about ourselves, but that's okay.
they'll love us anyway.
It's good stuff. We believe that God wants us to share this. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Feel free to share any critique. We're open. We're not above reproach.
And again, share, like the video, the videos.
Follow the videos.
Follow them.
Not video the videos. Follow the videos.
Yeah, follow the videos.
We appreciate it, even if you don't do any of that. We appreciate you listening. We hope you're enjoying getting to know us.